ICE, already famous for taking the gloves off, is shocking the public by putting them on. That is, they shock the public when applied to the skin. It is the only electrical appliance that's considered patriotic. If you don't like being electrically shocked for being an immigrant or a demonstrator, would you prefer gas? How about coal? So many choices. This is America. Or it was. At a rare protest in Afghanistan, protesters chanted, "Work, education, freedom." Here in America, we have all those things. Even for women. But not in Texas. Texas Tech is taking out the trash. If by trash you mean diversity and faculty having a say in what they teach. Teaching the Holocaust is newly fraught since we learned there that the Nazis targeted LGBTQ folks. And the Viking mythological poems featuring gender switch hitting gods like Loki and Odin. Professors have come up with two distinct strategies in response: obeying in advance and accepting jobs in non-Texas states, of which there are still a few, at time of going to web. While the DOJ is busy abolishing DEI, why isn't turnabout fairer play? I mean, DEI has no crime record to speak of, unlike the Department of Jackals. Beasts. The Dodge is at least consistent in its wronging of rights, viz. Terminating the Biden crime septic systems in Lowndes County, Alabama. DEI written all over that sludge, which, I might add, is brown. In other Dodge news, the dodgeball is in a new court. No, not one that tells them they can't do that whatever. No, this time they're going after the most American of fraudsters, small business. Under the micro-fraud scope this week, a food truck in Santa Ana, California. It's a good balance for the white-collar crims, miscreant CEOs, and multinational corpses who have lately been slapped with forceful pardons. But the little guys caught in little scams are important because many of them are immigrants. And those types have always made America not great. Think Einstein, Bell, Tesla. Not that Tesla. Then again, Musk almost made America great again. That time he almost went to Mars. Outside of fake news outlets like The Guardian and Democracy Now!, the accelerating ethnic cleansing in Palestine doesn't get much ink, or whatever the Instagram equivalent of that is. And that could be because the kept press has always kept secrets like U.S. enhanced fascism pretty well. A little peek into the near future might shed some fake light on it. Fake, but still light. But having gifted Gaza to Jared, and in a bold Iran contretemps move, annexed the Strait of Hormuz to America, at least in his own mind, he's all warmed up for Cuba, which desperately cries out for annexation, and Greenland, which piteously petitions for ethnic cleansing. Or at least, drill, Kalalit, drill. And in Army Major Tard news, Jason Watson wore his uniform to denounce American aggression in Iran, which he did on the Capitol steps, and not satirically. An active duty officer is not allowed to utter, quote, contemptuous words against the commander-in-chief, who has a court-given monopoly on contemptuosity.
Are you stupid? Are you a stupid person? Quiet. Who are you with?
I'm with CNN.
Fake news. You're
just wanted
fake
to follow
news.
up on this up-
You're a loud, boisterous person. You're fake news.
I was
Be
trying to find out
quiet.
if
Be
you had
quiet.
been talking-
Be
President
quiet.
Trumpet about himself is offering early notice on his digital dumpster of his stock-enhancing quasi-governmental pronouncements for just 100 Gs a month. Sounds corrupt and illegal. But to be fair, Trump Antisocial, or anyway Trump Media, has lost $238 million this quarter, which qualifies it for help as a small business. Not that it's any business of mine, but what are the chances of swapping out Project 2025 for Amendment 25? Kalshi much? Three of the bluer of the divided states of America, plus Kentucky, are suing Daddy, in this case Meta, for deliberately addicting children on digital cigarettes. That is, anti-social media. Actually giving it to them free. Defendant denies the old hook and hide. Lest we dismiss this as a few disgruntled anti-progress attorneys general, there are presently thousands of such suits against a panoply of platforms. In the case of the 4 states case, they seek damages between 200 big ones, big with a B, and 1.4 truly big ones with a T. R. Plaintiffs claim that infinite scroll and beauty-enhancing filters cause compulsion and anxiety, driving a mental health epidemic in Gen Alpha.
Tech fascism is like classic fascism in most respects. It's a cult of grievance and self-victimization that seeks to return to a mythical greatness by purging its demonized enemies, using propaganda focused on law and order, gender and sexuality, in order to impose a permanent hierarchical structure on the world. This hierarchy is what they consider the moral order of the world.
Far-left democratic socialists, that's without a B, mind you, not many know that, have deviously enlisted dozens of hundreds of door knockers to knock reasonably centrist anti-health pro-genocide Dems out of their God-given elected sinecures, which is dirty pool. In Florida, Angie Nixon raised less than 1 million political money units, yet she bested her $16 million opponent by greeting voters and similar skullduggery. And construction workers on the greatest ballroom anyone has ever illegally built are building 20 hours a day, 7 days a week, to outrun the courts and, well, democracy. And it's being built to last, able to withstand a nuclear bomb, so they say, along with any other attempts to deconstruct it. That would put the ballroom above the law, the Supreme Court, and of course the bunker. Buster? And that's pretty much what we voted for. Right?